Reggie here, your fellow neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As you guys know, I have been on a little tear, a teensy weensy tear when it comes to Atlas Comics. Say what you will about these books, but there are some Atlas Comics that are pretty darn good. There are some that aren't that great. But I have been on a tear to pick up as many of these Atlas Comics titles as I possibly can. And the reason for that is that there is a chance that Paramount or some other movie studio will actually turn these comics into movies. Yes, they will require some work to make it happen, but the source material is there. Atlas actually has some decent characters. And so I remain hopeful that they're actually going to be able to make some magic happen through some great writing, some great production, some great acting. And so I've been picking up a lot of these books while they're still cheap. I mean, we're talking $3, $4. Why not pick these books up when they're super cheap versus waiting until some magic is made and those books are all the more expensive? So in this video, I actually want to show you a couple of the Atlas comics that I've picked up, but I also want to show you a little bit of an AOK that came in from Mark Spector. Mark is a long-time subscriber of the channel, and he sent me a pretty awesome AOK, specifically books that I needed for my run of Amazing Spider-Man. And I am super appreciative for anyone that tries to help me out with this run, because when you're trying to collect basically 801 comics, you need some friends, you need some help. And so I'm getting closer and closer to completing at least the portion of the run that I'm really focused on, which is 1 through 261. And Mark actually sent over a couple of books that are in that early portion. So I want to show you those books. We'll do that first, and then I'll show you the Atlas comics that I've picked up. So the books that Mark sent over to me, again, super appreciative of these books. The first one is one that I've seen. I've seen it in the wild, and every time that I've seen it, it's been a little beat up. But this copy is nice, has a little bit of a spine tick, and can benefit from a press. Neither here nor there, because I actually have it now. And this is much better than any of the books that I've actually seen in the wild. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 187. Definitely a cool cover featuring good old Cap. And this and Electro, well, his shadow. But definitely pleased to mark this book off of the list. The next one is Puma. It is Amazing Spider-Man 256, a newsstand copy of this book, and somehow or another, within the last day or so, I've actually received 2 copies of this book from 2 subscribers who are attempting to look out for me, and I definitely appreciate that. One of these books is going to stay in the personal collection. One of them will find its way back out into the comic book community, and maybe it'll go to you. Who knows? But this is a really nice copy of Amazing Spider-Man 256, another book that has eluded me from that early part of my run. And then the very last book is the last book that's actually on my target list. It is Amazing Spider-Man 227. Definitely pleased to have this one. I've never seen this book in person. I've never spotted this one in a comic shop in any way, shape, or form. So I'm definitely pleased to have this one in the collection. And I might as well show you guys the list. The list is getting smaller and smaller. And I think right now there are basically 14 regular ASM books that I am missing from the 1 through 261 portion. Thanks to Mark Spector for sending me 2 additional books. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. So I'll set that off to the side. And then I want to show you guys the other books that I picked up from Atlas. I actually bought these from an online retailer. And for the life of me, I can't even remember which online retailer it is. But what I've been trying to do with like these Atlas books, instead of going to eBay, which is super easy, what I've been doing is actually going to some non-eBay virtual comic shops. And there's a couple that I hit, whether it be My Comic Shop or Scott's, or there's another one I think called Karma or something like that. Just a couple of websites that actually have I guess, large inventories of comics. And so that's where I've been going for a healthy number of my Atlas comics instead of buying them from eBay where they've been marked up and they have all the fees and all that kind of stuff. I've been going to these other kind of websites to purchase these books. So Lomax. Sorry, I'm laughing. Police Action Lomax. This is actually a 3-part set that I picked up with this one. This features issues 1, 2, and 3, and that is the first cover. I actually haven't even opened this thing up. They just arrived. So that's issue 1, and then issue 3 is on the back side. You know, part of the challenge when you're dealing with some of these places is that they, you know, stuff multiple comics in one bag and don't put a board in it. But, you know, it arrived. And it was relatively inexpensive, so you can't complain all that much. The next one is the Tarantula, issue number 1. And I want to say I already have one copy of this, but I decided to pick up a second copy because this one is actually better than my first. It has a massive spine tick right there that actually breaks color, but it's still a much cleaner copy than the other version that I have. And it's not that often in my experience that you actually see a pink cover. You see some of that with like Green Lantern, for example, but I can't really think of another title where I see a whole lot of pink covers. So this is really cool. Tarantula number 1. I have not read that, but I'm actually looking forward to reading that one. This is my second copy of Wolf the Barbarian, and I actually sat down to try to read this. It was not a good read. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I did not make it past page 3. I struggled with the writing. I want to give it another go, and hopefully the second time around will be the charm. But I decided to pick up an additional copy because the first copy that I received had a little more wear on the book than what I wanted. So again, I picked up another copy of Wolf the Barbarian number 1. And again, these books are all relatively inexpensive. And so, you know, a couple of bucks here and there, no big deal. And then the book that I'm probably most disappointed in is this one right here. This is The Grim Ghost number 1. And it's actually a pretty cool cover, but my disappointment comes from whatever little child decided to write on the cover of this book. So I actually have another copy of this book en route to me right now because when I originally bought this book, they actually did not show the actual cover on the website of the book. They showed a stock image, and it was disclosed that it was a stock image, but they kind of indicated what the grade was, and I was actually okay with the grade. It would have been nice to know, however, that there was actually some writing on the book in ink pen. So neither here nor there. Couple of bucks again. Second copy is en route, and I believe that second copy will be a better grade than this book. So there you have it. That is essentially my mini haul / AOK unboxing. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch it. And certainly, if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so at Regie Collects on Instagram and regiecollects@gmail.com. And if you haven't, for some reason or another, subscribe to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so that you can stay abreast of all the content that I release on a weekly basis. Take care.